Alright, so if you're running an online business in today's day and age, you will need appointment setters to book appointments, right? And I do have other videos where I go deep into our cold DM and other systems that we use to book appointments. But once you have that system, you need to scale that, and you need appointment setters to actually be able to scale this stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you exactly how to hire appointment setters, exactly what to do to train them so that way they perform optimally and book you like consistent appointments every single day. And thirdly, I'm also going to show you exactly how to manage them, because like if you don't manage setters correctly, they'll just leave. Okay, and we don't want that. Okay, so this video is really value packed, and this is going to show you everything you need from A to Z of hiring appointment setters and scaling your agency. Okay, but if you're someone who can't just sit and watch a 20-minute video where someone's going to show you exactly how to solve the problem you're dealing with, I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, without much rambling, let me just get into this. The core understanding that I want you to have throughout this video or throughout the outbound that you're doing is, if your system can book you one appointment, like let's say you're sending 200 emails or you're doing 200 cold DMs and you're booking one appointment. Okay, that's 0.5 conversion rate. Really bad for cold DM, but acceptable for cold email. Okay, with emails you can just scale the volume, infrastructure, and then scale from there. But with DMs, let's say you're sending 100 DMs and then you're booking 5 appointments with that. That's 5% appointment booking rate. And if you have that, you're good to go, you're good to scale. You can even scale with 2% appointment booking rate. So let's say you're sending 100 DMs and you're booking 2 appointments with that, you can scale that too. So now you have a system that's working. So you're sending 100, you're booking 2 appointments. Now you can send 1,000 and you can book 20 appointments per day, right? There's no reason you cannot do that. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to scale that. Okay, so firstly, obviously, if we want to scale a system, we need to hire setters. Okay, and in order to hire setters, we need to post on social profiles like Upwork, Facebook groups, LinkedIn posts. Okay, and in this video, like I'm going to show you how to hire them, how to manage them, everything. Okay, so you can leverage any of these to get your job posts out and make potential candidates see the post. And once they have seen the post, all we need is for them to apply to these posts. Once you have posted about the job, all we need is to get these people to an application form. And the application form is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So let me show you what the appointment setter application form looks like. Okay, so this is what the form looks like. You have a heading, and we're saying we're hiring setters. This is an opportunity to make thousands of dollars every month. You just copy this. Don't copy this word by word. Just change something. Like obviously you're gonna have a different niche, different agency. So make it like customized to your agency. Okay. So this is essentially what you're doing. You're asking them for their email, their name, their age, their social profiles. Really important. We need to see if their answers match their profile. Okay. And then you're asking for their country, obviously very important. And then you are asking them about their life and if they are disciplined, because obviously if you're hiring them to do cold outbound, they need to be disciplined and consistent. Okay, so you're asking them for an example of that. And then you're asking them something that they're passionate about, and then you're getting them to record a video of themselves, just a quick 30-second video, and that's the application form. Okay, so we get these people to fill out this form and submit a video introduction of themselves in the last question, right? And after looking at the video introduction, you'll be able to judge who you want to work with, and you can do that based off of your preferences. Okay, so like you watch the videos, you see who is fit for your agency and who you want to be working with long term. Okay, and once you know who you want to work with, we need to book an interview with them. Okay, so if I have a separate if I have like a person, let's say I do a job post, I get like 70 to 80 people to go through that form, and then I have 30 people who I want to book an interview with. Okay, so I have a separate calendar for interviews. Okay, so all you have to do, go to Calendly, create a new calendar named appointment setter interview, and then send that link, send that calendar link to all of the 30 people that you decided to interview with. Okay, send them the link to schedule the interview, and in the interview You want to gauge who you want to be working with as a person. This is just something you have to decide for yourself, okay? Because like you are the CEO here, like you want to decide who you want to be working with long term, okay? And obviously this is going to be 6+ months. Now, on that interview, here are some questions that I would ask, okay? I would ask them about their goals, and then once they're like, okay, my goal is to like provide the best things and like do the best job for the agency that I'm working with, and then you dig deeper. You just be like, what are your revenue goals specifically? And then you ask them that. And then you ask them to expand on the times that they have been consistent or disciplined. Because again, this is important. If we're hiring a appointment setter, we need to know that they are consistent and disciplined. Because if they're not, then they just aren't gonna like perform very well in outbound. Okay, you ask this question, and then you ask them if like what would make this opportunity the best opportunity for them, just so the expectations are aligned and they're not expecting something like monumental, right? And then you ask the opposite question: what would make this opportunity the worst opportunity for you? Okay. Pretty simple. Just follow this structure. We found this to work the best. We've tested a bunch of stuff, and this worked the best. So just do that. And then you discuss the commission structure with them. The commission structure, obviously, what you're willing to pay them. And yeah, just like discuss that with them. Just tell them, okay, we're willing to pay you X amount of dollars per appointment you book. And that's that. And then you tell them what growth looks like. When working with your agency, right? So like you can tell them, okay, once you're a setter, we're gonna promote you to the head setter, and then if you perform well, we're gonna get you to a sales rep, X, Y, and Z, whatever like the growth structure is in your agency specifically. You talk about that. This just makes them like feel like comfortable and have that peace of mind knowing that you as an agency owner cares for them. Okay, so just discuss that with them as well. And this should be enough. Like you should be able to hire, like you only need 5 setters to get to this point. Okay, so you don't need more than 5 setters to get to 120. Okay, so you have 5 setters. Each setter is managing, let's say, 5 LinkedIn accounts. You're good to go. You're way more than 20. You're gonna book way more than 120. Okay, so this is all you need, like pretty much. But like the main thing is once you've hired the setters, you have to manage them correctly to make sure that they are performing every single day and like they are performing towards, and they have the standards that you as an agency owner expects them to hold, right? And in order for us to do that, we need to manage them properly. And I'm going to show you the exact structure so you're covered. Okay, so just to tell you, like we do weekly management meetings just so the setters are like connected to us personally and like we know what's going on. Okay, I've seen agency owners who just don't manage their setters. They do like a call in 1 month and then the next month they're like, oh, I'm just like can't be bothered. Don't do that. Seriously, man, if you're doing that, stop. No, seriously. And then they're like, why am I not booking appointments? Well, did you talk to your setter? Yeah, I gave him this SOP document. Of course you did, right? So yeah, do a meeting with them every single week. And if you don't want to do it weekly, then you're just not going to book that many appointments. And I'm just telling you what it is, right? I'm not going to lie to you. You have to do weekly meetings with them, okay? Because if you're not, the seller gets annoyed, and obviously in this online space, if they get another, like if they see another job post from another agency saying that they're gonna help them make more money than you are, then they're just gonna click that because they're not connected to you at all. You're not even doing weekly calls with them, so why would they like care about you? No, man, no shit, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. So what these weekly calls do is like they connect you to them personally, and then if you have a vision, like a mission with your agency, like for HRA specifically, my mission is to like help people who are struggling with booking appointments, help them book appointments. And that's just something I want to help people do because like I know what it feels like when you don't have any appointments. I remember, like, not to ramble, but like I remember when I was starting out, I used to do cold calls and like it was really hard to like get people on the call, and I was like really struggling. I used to like, that was really hard for me, and I just don't want that for anyone. And that's my mission. And when I tell this to a setter, then they're like more likely to comply with me, right? And yeah, just like do weekly calls with them, just to reiterate. Okay, so setter team meets are used as a touch point for your setters. You want to make sure that setters feel like they are a part of something. Okay, I'm not going to say this again. Make sure that they feel like they are a part of something, and really enforce a positive work culture. Because if you don't, and if you suck at this, no one's going to work for you. Okay? I can't put this like any lightly, man. You want to make sure that they feel like they are a part of something. Okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. Okay? They will be managed by the CEO, aka you, or a head setter. A head setter is essentially a person that you hire to manage the setter after a certain point where you're like, you don't want to do this stuff anymore. Okay? But for now, it's going to be you. Because like if you're hiring setters fresh, you got to like do this stuff for yourself so that way you know how it's done. And then once you know how it's done, you can teach someone else to do it. And then you can hire a head setter so that way they can do it for you, right? So you need to conduct the calls as a manager and with authority, okay? However, it's imperative that you have energy throughout, right? So if you're like not feeling good that day, or like you're a little bit sick, under the weather, you gotta show up for them, man. Like, because they're looking up to you. You are the CEO. Like, you are the person who's supposed to lead them, okay? So even if you're feeling a little bit down, just try to get that energy up and like just be there, okay? Setters' performance can sometimes be a direct reflection of you as a manager, okay? Lead them with the same energy in which you want them to perform, okay? If you want setters to perform, it depends on your energy and how you are kind of connecting with them, or how you are leading with them. Always remember, people in your team or like in your agency, anywhere, look at you for inspiration, for like how to work, how much to work. They look at you. And if you just don't work that much, or if you are like very low energy, or if you're like not showing it to them, really big one, not showing them how much you're working is like another thing. They just won't be able to do it. They'll just be like, okay, this is the leader, and if he's doing that, and if he's not performing this much, he's here, then this is the bar, and I just don't need to go above. I just stay below this. Do you know what I mean? Okay. So the frequency should be 1 to 2 calls per week, and the setter team meets is a meeting with all the setters. Okay, like all the setters that you've hired. Let's say you go through this and you hire 5 setters. Setter team meets is a meeting with all the setters, and all you're discussing here is team items, like items throughout the week. Let's say the ABR is going down, so you just want to discuss that, or like you're making changes to the system, so you want to discuss that, X, Y, and Z, whatever, right? So discuss these, or you set the reviews, like you go over like examples of good objection handled, or like call sets. So like if you have good examples to show to them, like you have handled good objections, or like videos you've watched on YouTube, or like stuff like that, or trainings and stuff, you can just go over those, explain them a bit more in detail to them, so that way they understand that. And then projections, like each setter needs to give you a projection of how many calls they will book the next week, or the next month, or the next quarter, right? This just like lights them up, and just like tells them that they are actually looking forward to something, like sets a milestone, okay? And in the end, I just had to add this: fun. Like, just have a conversation with them, just like talk to them. Just don't be like one of those CEOs who are like, oh, with that straight serious face, and you're just talking to the setters and like, oh, how many appointments did you book? Okay, 2 appointments. Why? Next month, if you don't book 10, I will kill you. No, okay, I'm kidding, okay? But like, just have fun, because like people, if they want to work with you long term, you can't just be like this serious monotone guy, right? So just have fun. Like, whenever like I'm done with the meetings as well, these weekly meetings, I'm just like, hey guys, how's your week? Like, how's your weekend? what's up with family, like how's Christmas, X, Y, and Z, whatever, right? Just normal human behavior, right? Next one is setter one-on-ones. Okay, so again, just to reiterate, this meeting is with all the setters, and this is one-on-one with one specific setter. Okay, setter one-on-ones are your opportunity to really dive into the nitty-gritty details of the surroundings and the setter performance. Okay, this should be used as a technical call where metrics will be analyzed together, small changes will be made, and just like improvements will be advised to them. So, like if a setter is underperforming, I'll do this more than once a week. If the setter is performing in KPI and they're good to go, I'll just do this once a week. Okay, so you want to use the personal nature of the call, of the one-on-one calls, to both like call out good behavior and bad behavior. Okay, so if they're underperforming, tell them that. If they're performing good, tell them that. Okay, I've seen people who tell the setters that they're performing bad when they're performing bad, but when the setter does something good, they just don't tell them that, and that's a bad thing. Okay, you want to positively reinforce the good behaviors that they do, so that way they do more of it. Okay, that's like something I learned as well. So if they're performing good, tell them that. Okay, you want to really use this opportunity to connect with them on a personal level. Okay, like just set goals, add or remove accounts, and ultimately just steer the setter towards mastery. Okay, so in these calls, all you're doing is just like if a setter is struggling or like they can't book appointments, you're just teaching them stuff. And another quick thing that I want to mention here quickly: we never fire setters because they're underperforming. We always fire setters based on two things: if they're not obeying us, or if they're just running their own system and just like doing whatever the hell that they want, right? We never fire setters if they're underperforming. If they're underperforming, we like iterate the system, we teach them, okay? Because everyone can improve. But if someone doesn't improve, then we can look into that, okay? And again, just to reiterate, the frequency is once per week, but it's more if the performance is low. So I do it 3 times a week if a setter is not performing, okay? Structure, pretty simple. Meeting metric analysis, so like you're going through that metric sheets there, you're looking at the volume and you're advising any system iterations that you might want to make. You're giving them feedbacks. You're looking at their goals, revenue goals as well specifically, and then you're like, okay, your goal is X. How can we optimize towards that, right? How can we add more accounts so that way you book more appointments, you book more appointments, you make more money, you get to your goal, right? And that's essentially what we're doing. Okay, so that's that. Like with weekly operations, one quick thing I want to mention is like you want to make sure that you are on time on the meeting. Okay, you want to make sure that whenever the clock strikes the time of the appointment, you are in the call, you are on time, because as I said, your setters will look up to you as the leader, and if you are lacking behind and if you're sluggish and if you're lazy, they will try to like emulate that. Okay, so that's that. By the way, if you're looking to book more appointments for your agency specifically, there's a link in the description that will help you do that. Full transparency is a calendar link which will help you book a demo call with us. You don't have to click it if you don't want to. You can just watch these videos and scale your agency that way. No worries. Anyways, that's it from me. If you like this video, I would really appreciate if you liked it. And subscribe so that way like more people watch these videos and get some value from it. Anyways, that's that from me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.